raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, sweet
tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine.
Where the peaches grow.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Let's Talk Phys Ed. This is Season 2, Episode 28. I told you it was Episode 29 last time, but that was Tanner's fault because he was counting 2 episodes in Tampa, or 2 scenes in Tampa as episodes, and I told him, now everybody's going to be all confused. But we're back on track. It's Episode 28. I am Jason Steele. I am your host, and with me, as always, Tanner.
Hey, everybody. Do you have a good weekend, Jason?
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It was a good weekend.
Did you get rained on a lot?
It's cold, obviously, but I had to do some yard work, and yeah, it wasn't bad. Mostly just kind of sat around and watched the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's my favorite time of the year. So
nice. Maybe we'll talk about some yard work later today.
Maybe.
All right.
So we're joined today honestly, if nobody knows this guy, are you living under a rock? Because he's been like maybe the most busy physical education person around. He's all over the place. Not one, but two-time Georgia Physical Education Teacher of the Year. We'll get into that here shortly. Brian Devore. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well, my friends. It's been a great weekend here in Georgia. We had a little bit of rain, but it's been nice and warm. I was more than comfortable going outside in my bare feet today, I'll have you know.
I go outside in my bare feet all the time.
I cut my yard for about the 4th time this year already today.
First time today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, tell the viewers, if they don't know who Brian Devore is, who's Brian Devore?
So Brian Devore is an old retired guy now. I started teaching health and physical education way back in the 80s, believe it or not. It was the end of the 80s, 1989, but it was back in the 80s. So first came to Georgia from North Carolina and taught for basically about 25 years, elementary and middle school health and physical education, primarily bounced around between 2 different school districts, Cobb County School District in Marietta, northwest of Atlanta, and then Paulding County, a little further to the west. And so during that time, got a lot of experience doing a lot of different things, worked for a lot of great administrators and with a lot of great students and a lot of great parents, and had a lot of opportunities afforded to me because of that. And then I guess it was 2014, began to work with the Cobb County School District with their online health and physical education courses for high school students. And I did that for about 3 years. So that was a very interesting experience to shift from the classroom to more of an administrative role, but also at that time with health and physical education classes going online and kind of a blossoming industry, it was kind of interesting to learn that whole part of education, really, because I really had my hand in a few different parts, not just the health and PE, but also some other things regarding online education. So did that for about 3 years and then finished out about the last year and a half as the health and PE coordinator for Fulton County Schools, which runs basically kind of north-south through the city of Atlanta. Has 96 schools. I worked with 350 outstanding health, physical education, and adapted physical education teachers, and had a lot of great support there. And then I got to the point where I was at the 30-year mark. So I went ahead, tossed my keys on the desk, and retired the end of last August, and then retired for Labor Day weekend.
I was going to say one day, right?
It was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Come on now. Give me credit. I had 3 days.
That's nice.
And then after that 3rd day, I started to work full-time with Open and Aaron Hart. And so been with them full-time ever since. And in all fairness, I had worked previously presenting on Open as an Open national trainer for about 3 years prior to that. So had kind of some prior experience in there with Open and being there, I guess, when it was initially unveiled at the Seattle National Convention. So I had the opportunity to see the first actual professional development session, conference session that Open did in Seattle, and then became a part of their team shortly thereafter.
That is awesome. And that kind of brings us to our first question is, not a lot of people, especially in the education world, get to travel to Hawaii for their job, which you recently got to do. So tell us a little bit about that. Like how, what did you do there? What was the coolest parts?
So it was very interesting and an outstanding opportunity for me. And I do, without question, thank my lucky stars. And who'd have thought in 1989 or even 1986, 85, when I declared my major, health and physical education, that it would take me to some of the places that I've had the fortune to go to. So, but basically went over there to do the Hawaii AFERD State Convention. They run a one-day convention over there, which is kind of unique. They do have some obstacles that kind of make it a little bit difficult because of the island framework, and you have to fly from island to island. So whatever island that they have the convention on, everyone has to fly there. So I did 3 sessions on Friday at their convention, and also did the keynote address with that as well. And then stayed the weekend, and then went to Maui on Sunday afternoon, and on Monday we did a professional development with all the physical education teachers on Maui. So it was very interesting and a different experience. I know, Jason, for example, you used to teaching in a gym, and I did presentations. We were at a recreation center on Friday, and then at a high school gym at Maui High School on Monday, and the gyms are a little different over there. So has the basic wall, going about 3/4 of the way up is regular wall, and then the last quarter is ventilated with air. I mean, so it's not air conditioned at all. So they have the wind passing through there, the nice trade winds blowing through, and some ceiling fans on the top to circulate the air a little bit. So that was kind of interesting. And during the conference, we had some birds fly in, and so that was kind of nice. I mean, it get back to nature a little bit. But I mean, the whole surroundings of what was there was just incredible. The Manoa Valley Park that we were at, I mean, you walked outside and you saw these huge mountains with palm trees and all the different foliage and everything around it. So it was away from the beach a little bit, but still just an outstanding opportunity. And the teachers there, I think, sometimes we feel like on the mainland that especially at the elementary level, where usually we're a singleton, one teacher, per school, that we feel a little bit isolated. And boy, I tell you what, those teachers over there have to feel isolated, just because, a lot of them don't get the opportunity. Those teachers on Maui, a lot of them will not get the opportunity to go to their state convention just because of the travel difficulties. And it's not a huge expense to fly from one island to the other, but still it's an expense. It's an extra expense that we don't consider. Here, if you go to the North Dakota State Convention, you're going to have to drive somewhere, but you got to drive somewhere, park somewhere, fly somewhere, and then get back. So it makes things a little bit different over there.
100%.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Well, hey, when I was on Twitter earlier today, I saw Jason had sent out a promotional tweet about you being our guest. And then I saw that you had commented, and you said you were excited about, let's see, what was it? Trivia, ice fishing, and cutting grass. So those are the 3 things you really wanted to talk about. So we are going to try to make that happen for you today. So,
well, as long as you don't make the trivia like the movie trivia and that kind of stuff, because I'll totally bomb out on that.
The trivia is going to be good.
Okay.
It's good.
So here's the deal. You said you've already mowed 4 times. I mowed for the first time on Friday, but it was probably way overdue. And Jason just said he mowed for the first time today.
Yeah.
I just got a new horse-sized dog. Its poops are like this big. And so, what are your mowing tips for me? What's your yard care tips for me with this giant dog?
Well, I would definitely go ahead and put a little shovel out in the yard and take care of that business on a gradual basis. Don't let it all pile up, no pun intended, until you get to the time when it's time to mow, because no matter what, you're just going to miss it all. So I would make that a gradual project whenever you can. But no, mowing grass is, and actually I've done, different things working on, I've worked on baseball fields, worked on golf courses, and then, just kind of have a little side thing, cutting grass, in the neighborhood. So there's a lot of different tips. You got to always, make sure you keep your line straight. Do an outer edge around, just like, picture your yard as a golf green. Do a couple laps around the outside and then pick your mowing pattern, and then you got to alter your mowing pattern. A lot of people get in the habit of cutting the grass in the same direction every time. So you got to make sure you alternate your patterns and stripe it up nice like Wrigley Field.
That's right.
All right.
Oh, stop it.
Hey, we can talk about that. I want to go back to
on. See, now we got to let the viewers know that beforehand, Brian and I were making fun of Tanner because the joke is, and Tanner fits perfectly into this, my dad is also a Cubs fan, fits perfectly into this. Anyone who's a Cubs fan, I swear any Cubs fan I've ever met, thinks that everybody else is a Cubs fan. So now he's getting them going with the whole Wrigley Field thing. Never going to end it.
All right. I was going to ask him about the striping. So, hey, I've got this.
The striping.
I've got the play yard in my backyard. My kids don't use it anymore, but so I just mow the same way every time because I don't care anymore. Is that like really bad for my yard? Like, what's going to happen?
Oh yeah. You'll start to kind of get ruts in your yard because you're using the same mowing pattern, and then also, it's just not good for the grass. The grass will keep growing in the same direction and lean the same way, so you want to shake it up so the grass grows up nice and straight and tall.
Will it help if my wife mows instead of me?
If your wife mows instead of you, it will help you. It probably will not help her, and it probably will have no impact on the grass.
All right. I was hoping that you would say it would be awesome if she would do that.
She's probably sitting right in the background.
No, she's not here, but she mows about probably 3 or 4 times a summer. So I was hoping it would be every time.
You said you were interested to talk ice fishing. I don't know why, because I've made this joke. I've made fun of you multiple times, like, come on up, let's go ice fishing. But then you do make it to North Dakota. It's like 65 degrees, and we had to go have supper at a restaurant with a fireplace so Brian could get warm.
Yeah, that was the coldest 65 degrees I've ever experienced. I do find it very intriguing, though, that you told me that you can go inside the little ice fishing hut or whatever it is you call it there, and that you basically can have short pants on and just kind of walk around and do your ice fishing.
There's 2 different types here. Now, if I was to have Brian out there ice fishing, I don't know if I would be nice or not about it. Like, there's 2 types. So I've got a portable house. You bring the portable house in there, you got to be bundled up pretty good. I've got the heater in there. It's 80 degrees inside of my house, but you're sitting on the ice and there's not a lot of room. My buddy, on the other hand, has an ice house, and we have a satellite dish on it. There's an oven. There's a stove. We watch TV and
you get the Cubs.
Spring training games.
January.
Reruns.
We just kind of hang out. I think you'd love it. I think you would.
That sounds like, that doesn't really sound like ice fishing. I mean, I've seen Grumpy Old Men. That doesn't sound like ice fishing to me.
It's close.
You're on the ice, so I mean.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
There is water underneath you.
Once in a while, you might catch a fish.
Yeah, I would be a little apprehensive about that. Water's not my best friend, so.
Well, the ice is 3 feet thick, though.
There's always that chance that someone left the oven on too long and created kind of a little shallow spot there.
Oh, man. So, hey, you being from Georgia, I'm sure you just love Georgia. Like, you were the middle school teacher of the year. You're the elementary school teacher of the year. Our intro song mentioned Georgia. You're just this big Georgia boy, right?
Well, there's a lot of great things that go on in this state. And there's obviously a lot of interesting things as far as having the mountains not too far from me. Actually, I I do live probably about an hour. I can get into the North Georgia mountains pretty quickly. And then if I drive about either, 4.5 hours to the east or 4.5 hours to the south, I can get to a beach pretty quickly also, which is a beautiful thing. So, but as far as Georgia Bulldogs and the University of Georgia, not so much.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, see, not so much because, my money and my kid go to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Did you send him a question?
We didn't even have to ask the question, Tanner. He just answered it for you.
Yeah. It's like, how much flack do people give you when you're wandering around Georgia with the Alabama hat on, the Alabama jacket, when you're...
Actually, not too much because my neighbor across the cul-de-sac, he's a big Alabama fan also. So you see probably just as many University of Alabama fans in the metro Atlanta area as you do Georgia Tech. You see a lot of Clemson fans also. And then Florida fans, a lot of Florida fans, not as many, I don't think, as the other ones, but you do see a fair number of Florida fans. So, it's, like the old story, nobody's really originally from the city of Atlanta. Everybody is a transplant. So, and the Southeast college football, it rules the roost. So, everybody takes a lot of pride in their alma mater and what they do. Now, I take a lot of pride in my alma mater, but not during football season because the University of North Carolina is usually not a football powerhouse. However, I do know about how many days it is until basketball practice starts, whereas everyone else here is counting down the days until football practice starts.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch the Kentucky Derby. I don't, doesn't interest me too much, but I was curious to see how it happened or what happened and how it went. You can't go anywhere, it seems like, without hearing what happened. It was a bit controversial. But what we want you to do is we want to know the three, so you've got to name the three of us as a racehorse. So we have to have a racehorse name real quick. So who am I? Who is Tanner? Who are you?
Okay. So you obviously, Jason, are the Iceman. You're the Iceman. Tanner is Wrigley Wonder.
Oh, all right. What's your name?
Let's see. Out to Pasture, since I'm retired.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Those are good ones.
I could see all three of those names. But, what's funny is I'm going somewhere else with this question. But again, Tanner, that's 2 episodes in a row where we've had a Top Gun reference.
That's right. I saw that. I was hoping he was going to call me Maverick, but all right.
So now that was half of the question. The other half is we're coming down the home stretch. It's the last 100 yards. You have to give us the play-by-play with our horse names on how it ends.
Wrigley Wonder is going to win this.
Coming down the last 100 yards.
The last 100 yards.
A furlough? Is that what they call it? No, furlong?
Yes, the announcer would say it.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. And down the stretch they come. It's the Iceman in the lead, Wrigley Wonder in second, and Out to Pasture in third. Out to Pasture is fading fast. That old horse doesn't have anything left in the tank, but Iceman is still in the lead. Wrigley Wonder on the outside. Wrigley Wonder coming up. Even Wrigley Wonder pulls ahead. Oh, no, it's the Iceman there, nose to nose, coming to the finish, and it is Iceman with the win.
Yes! That is the first time I've ever won one of these competitions ever. Like, Tanner always wins.
You never win the fake racehorse competitions?
I never win any competition on here. If it's like we ask anybody a question, what's Jason or Tanner, like who's stronger, whose beard is better, blah, 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 it's always Tanner. You must have to Brian beforehand because
I sense a little sibling rivalry going on here almost.
I think what it is he writes the questions. So then I think what he does is he like secretly messages them beforehand and says, "Hey, listen, we're gonna have a question where there's gonna be a competition. Let's just get Jason going a little bit, let's rile him up," and it works because I never win. I thought.
Well, I didn't check any messages or anything, so I don't know if he sent anything.
I don't know if you could tell. I'm excited. I finally won one.
He's not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
that was a good one. All right. So hey, I think I noticed you had a birthday recently. Is that right?
Back in February, yes.
Oh, okay. So way more further back than I expected. So did you like treat yourself, or did you get anything like kind of amazing, or how'd your birthday go?
Yeah, I treated myself with a flight from Anaheim, California, connecting in Atlanta to go to New Jersey for the New Jersey Aphid Convention, because I was actually en route from California to get to the New Jersey Convention. California ended on Saturday and New Jersey started on Sunday. So so that was how I spent my birthday. And Nick Klein picked me up in New Jersey, and we drove the rest of the way down to the convention. So got to see Shape America President Judy LoBianco on my birthday, and she sang happy birthday to me, and got to attend some events there. So so that was my birthday in a nutshell. It was a different birthday, that's for sure, but still it was birthday on the road, a little different.
Yeah.
So my birthday was Monday, and I got this awesome cologne. It's a mustache. I smell like my dad now. So
It's just brute. It's just brute.
Probably what it is. Oh,
And he just spilled it.
it's called Stash Solid Gold. If you want some,
It's called
All right.
Stash.
It is.
It's 100% of the time it works.
All right. So with that being said, what's the best gift you've ever gotten for your birthday?
Oh, best gift for my
Oh, I gotta put
birthday.
the lid back on.
Wow.
Don't tell my neighbor I said that.
Best. Yeah, see, I don't really like birthdays. Aren't that big a deal for me, just because I hate getting old.
But you were 10 once, right?
I was 10 once. Yeah. Gosh, I don't remember.
Brian was that kid that got the pony for every kid wants a horse or a pony.
No, I did not get a pony.
Now he feels embarrassed because he doesn't want to tell everybody.
No, I didn't get a pony.
He got a horse when he was 16 or something.
No, and I didn't get a car for my birthday either, or anything good like that. So I mean, nothing big leaps to mind. This past year I did get a pair of AirPods for my birthday this year, which was good, with doing as much travel as I do now and different conference calls and everything. So that was pretty good.
If
Nice.
you play your cards right on your next birthday, you might get a unopened bottle of Stash.
I still have the packaging. I gotta keep it around in case my neighbors ask. Maybe I'll just wear this every time I go to their house for now.
Maybe somebody will pay my AARP membership now. That would be a great birthday present now.
Well, speaking of AARP, we'll see how quick-witted you are here in your old age. That was rude. Should I have said that?
That's okay.
We have
He
to
brought it up.
word now because I called Brian old.
Yeah, be nice to him now.
All right, I'll be nice. Okay, so you said you wanted trivia, so we're gonna jump into some trivia here. And being, what it is Cinco de Mayo. So you are getting some Cinco de Mayo trivia.
Well, I have no chance at this. Hopefully it's multiple choice.
You didn't want movie trivia, so this is what you're left with. In Mexico, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. In Mexico, they celebrate Cinco de Mayo with mariachi music, folk dancing, Mexican food, and margaritas. How did Tanner celebrate Cinco de Mayo this year?
He cut the grass.
I did cut the grass.
There you go.
That's
a win.
We had a fire pit and ate nachos at the fire pit with a cooler.
We had tacos. We had tacos for supper.
Did you?
And I watched Star Wars all week. So
I had a burrito Friday night.
there you go. Now, I am not our show's writer, so if I butcher these, the pronunciations, it's Tanner's fault.
Not pronunciations, it's the guy's name.
Benito Juarez Is that right?
Yep.
Was the president of Mexico during the Battle of Puebla, who was just named the president-elect of Shape America.
The president-elect of Shape America. Well, that would be Roger from Michigan.
Roger Jackson. Ding!
Yeah. Ding.
We need a bell.
We'll get one in
You got your tech. I'm going to give you a half point for the first one because he did mow. So you got 1.5 out of 2.
All right.
I did
The
mow.
Battle of Puebla lasted only 2 hours. What did Tanner and I do the last 2 hours before we started this interview?
Well, Tanner sat and ate nachos at the fire pit.
He gotcha. That
was actually, I celebrated that on Friday night.
okay.
Oh,
That was mine.
Tanner splashed himself with some Stash cologne. That's what he did. Bathed himself in Stash.
How about Jason?
And Jason, I'm gonna roll the dice on this one, and with my fingers crossed that there was some playoff hockey on tonight, and he watched some of that.
No, this afternoon I did. This afternoon there was a game. I was at baseball practice for my son.
Okay.
And I caught just a little bit of American Idol when I got home.
And I was busy folding a lot of laundry because it's baseball season, so we're never home, so we just have laundry. Oh. And writing these questions at the last minute.
I was packing my open equipment bag to travel to Valdosta, Georgia tomorrow. There's a workshop down there in Valdosta on Tuesday, so I'll be down there Tuesday. So I was packing my equipment bag.
I will retweet it when you say that you are there.
All right.
In 1861, Mexico declared that it was too poor to pay its debts. How much money do you think I owe Tanner right now?
$50.
Jason, you owe me any money?
$0. All debts paid at Tampa. Because not only is Tanner the writer and co-host of the show, he is also the beautician of the show. And when we need matching polos for the Open Forum podcast and Let's Talk Phys Ed Open by the Bay, right?
All right.
Tanner has to purchase them. And
okay.
He kept giving me slack. I don't know why. He's like, well, I'm gonna get a medium. What size are you gonna get? Are you a large? I said, no, Tanner, I'm an extra large. No, you're not. I'm a medium. I'm like, well, thanks, buddy, but I'm an XL. All right, last
I didn't believe his shoulders are like, ugh. I can't go any further, but they're wide.
More people in the U.S. celebrate Cinco de Mayo than in Mexico. What did I celebrate at the beginning of April?
Birthday?
Tanner, can you tell him what I celebrated? Because I
don't remember. But Jared was on our show for our 1-year anniversary.
Oh.
Maybe I celebrated more than you did.
When I read this question, I'm like, I hope he knows what I celebrated, but I have no idea.
No idea.
Jason,
that shouldn't count. If both hosts don't know the answer, that shouldn't count.
No.
How can I know the answer if one of the hosts doesn't know?
Because it's just like if, the president's people write his speech for him, and then when he speaks about it, he has no idea. That's the same thing.
This is true.
So we need, I don't know, maybe we need more communication on what these
I think I bombed thoroughly on trivia.
Let's see. What'd you get? You got half a point. You got 1 point for that one. You got.
Yeah, I think I got like maybe 2 points total. I think I might have got a half a point for another one, but
yeah. So 2 out of 5.
So I need to study up on my Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Technically, it wasn't even Cinco de Mayo trivia.
No, it really wasn't.
It was what I do 2 hours ago trivia.
Well, when I started the idea of Cinco de Mayo trivia, first of all, it was my wife's idea. Second of all, when I started Googling it, I was like, he's not even know any of these things. I was like, but it was a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're running out of time. We've only got a couple minutes left. So We want to thank you, obviously, for joining us on the show tonight, Brian. If everybody knows, Brian it's probably past his bedtime, right? He said he was going to be doing it in his jammies. But we appreciate you staying up late with us and joining us on the show. We wanted to have you on the show for a long time, and finally we were able to make it happen. And so excited that you could join us. So we appreciate it. We only have one episode left of the season of Let's Talk Phys Ed. That will be on May 19th. And I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. You're going to have to follow on Twitter and find out from there. But Brian, what we like to do is we like to play some exit tunage and have you tell us where we can get a hold of you, or who, if someone wants to get a hold of you somehow, or do you have a website that you can talk about, or your Twitter handles or whatever, but you are going to take us out.
All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity, gentlemen. It's always great to connect with you, and thanks for working with us at Open by the Bay. You can reach me. You can find me on Facebook. You can reach me on Twitter at bdevore7. You can find me on Instagram, Coach BD34. And then, of course, we always want everyone to go ahead and be a part of the Open Phys Ed Network at Open Phys Ed. You can follow on Twitter, Facebook, and all the channels there. And go to www.openphysed.org to find free curriculum resources on there. So appreciate the opportunity, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank you,
joining us.
Brian.
See you next time, everybody.